can you hear me now? Okay, great. So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Vidyart Mehta. I'm a rising senior at Maine West, and I'm the co-founder and president of 3D Innovations. It's a club here at Maine West.
Hi, I'm Haripriya Mehta. I'm an incoming sophomore at Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and I'm on the board of Society of Women Engineers, and I run #Hello World at MIT.
And our organizations are sponsoring today's event. Now, when I was in middle school, there weren't a lot of STEM opportunities available in the community, especially for boys. So when I reached high school, I always wanted to do something for middle school students. And when my sister shared with me that at MIT she was running a great coding camp for girls, where they taught HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and how to create their own website, I thought this would be a great idea to implement at Maine West. I mean, if boys and girls, middle school students from the Des Plaines area could come to West and learn how to make a website, that would be far cooler than anything I got to do as a middle school student, and they would be making things from scratch and get to take something home with them.
And though I love the idea, I was skeptical at first because I didn't know middle school students would want to do this in the summer and their vacation. And I had an internship, my brother had some classes to take, and then mentors are busy with their internships and classes. But I gave the idea a thought. And then a couple of days later, I received an email from SWEET that there was this thing called SWEET Cubator where they give funding for new initiatives. So I emailed Dr. Hagen and I applied for the grant and I got interviewed and they really liked the idea. So we received a $750 grant and the rest is history.
So each of the students picked a topic related to social good and worked very hard to make beautiful websites over the past 2 weeks.
So without further ado, let's turn it to the stars of our show, our middle schoolers.
So each student is going to give a little information about their website, their whatever topic they chose about social good, why they chose it, and give a little information on the website, as well as tell you a little bit about the code behind the website. So first up is Pratiksha. Yeah, sorry guys, we're doing this by last name, so I'm sorry about that.
Hi, my name is Pratiksha, and my topic for my website was clean water. I chose this topic because water is something we take for granted in our everyday lives, but over 1/4 of the world does not have access to clean water, and it kind of has, like, they get problems from that. What problems do they face? Well, over 790 million people live on Earth without clean water. That's about 11% of the Earth. And then about another 25% live without access to clean water for like bathing and other things. So, and in America alone, we waste about 1 trillion gallons of water every year. Unsafe water can contain developmental neurotransmitters, which affects brain development in young children. This causes countries without clean drinking water to have a lower IQ, national IQ, and in addition, there are many diseases that come with unsafe drinking water. So, why does this matter? We know that this is a problem, but why does this matter? Well, many die daily from preventable diseases because they don't have access to clean water. Clean water can fix diseases daily, but even more than that, it can help the environment. If environments don't have clean drinking water, animals can start to get diseases, which causes the ecosystem to slowly go bad, which can actually affect us in the long run, because if an ecosystem collapses, it's actually going to ruin us, it's going to mess with what we eat and things around us. So, what can we do? The most common way people help is by donating to charities that actually take out groups of skilled workers who dig about 15-meter holes in the ground to reach aquifers, or they create networks of pipes, or they use biosand filters to help filter out the water, or they make spring connectors. So, I would like to go into how I created this website. index.html, and then here page2.html or page3.html, and it goes on. That's kind of my drop-down menu that it's at home, why does it matter, and stuff like that. Then around at the bottom, you can see it says div class equals to water, pretty. So that's where like I wrote my stuff, and then up there at ahref equals to that, it's a link to a button which takes you to the next page.
You guys see that better?
Yeah.
This is my second page. You can see at the bottom of it, it says P. P means paragraph encoding, and then like the really bottom, it says img class. That's how I added in my images, and then the links are just the links to my images. And then at the top, it says title, what's the problem, that's where the title of the page comes in. And then again, it's the button where it says like the link. And then the href index HTML, that's the drop down index. My third page is basically the same thing as my second page, except there's different links and different paragraphs, like there's everywhere in the paragraph place. This is my what can we do about page. This one's a little different. If you can look at the paragraph area, it says pretty. That's because in pretty, you can actually, like, the way you type it out is the way it appears on the screen. Where in P, it just, like, appears in paragraph form. I use that so I can do those dash marks and do notes instead of, like, go on sentences. This is just my citations page, and then this one actually takes you to links where you can donate to charities for clean water. Thank you.
Thank you, Pratisha. That's why we had you go first. You did an excellent job going through each page piece by piece and showing us the code behind it. The rest of our students may not be doing that today, though. They're just going to talk a bit about how, for example, they made their drop-down menu, what went into the CSS code, and briefly describe their background and stuff like that. So up next, we have Devin.
You can do it.
You can do it. And Devin, his last name starts with a B, and he has a great presentation about bees, right?
I'm Devin, and as you can see, my website is about bees and basically how we can help them, be friendlier to them. And then up above, you see a little drop-down menu that I made using the HTML and CSS. I had to link the two files in order for that to work. So, and my background, just include that in. So now, I'm just going to talk about some things that you should know. So, bees have one of the most immense and taxing jobs in the whole world, which is pollinating the world. And I think you should know where they originate from and where they are now. So bees originated in Africa, but spread all around the world and are pretty much domesticated now. Also, they usually do live best in tropical climates and prefer to live in areas like orchards, gardens, meadows, etc. And then see the picture down below. Just scroll down. These are perfect habitats for to settle in. And now we can talk a little bit about their home. So bees live in colonies, which are like our cities, and in each colony there's a hive, all controlled by a queen. And all the bees within the colony work together to keep their hive healthy, by the queen, and keep the hive able to stay in future generation of bees. And Finally, there are over 20,000 different species of bees and over 100 million hives around the world. So that's just some basic background information. Now we're going to talk a little bit more about the actual bug. So, whoops. Alright, so there are 3 different types of bees, worker bees, drone bees, and queen bees that all have different jobs. First is the worker bee, and makes up most of its colony and does like almost all the work for the hive. And it's probably the most recognized bee, the ones you see flying around your garden. And next is the drone bee. It's all drone bees are male, and they do not have a stinger and only one job. However, that one job is very important, and it's to mate with female bee and fertilize eggs. And down below is a picture of drone bee. Finally, we have the queen bee. She has the most important job out of all the other bees, which is to lay the eggs so the colony can stay alive. So you might be thinking, like, how do the other bees know who the queen bee is? Well, other bees recognize her because of her thin but long wings that are very unique. And that's a picture of a queen bee. And I'm gonna go. Now I'm gonna go into the code, like how I included the pictures. So basically, if you see the IMG and then SRC, that's this telling, and then the link, that's just basically linking at the downloaded picture to your website, so it shows. And then you have width and height that you can control, all that stuff. Alright, so now we have a little bit information about their environment and stuff. Now I'm going to talk a bit about the problems that they're facing. So these are disappearing all around the world because of something called colony collapse. Colony collapse means that we have kept bees away from nature that they need to survive, and then doing this forces the bees to journey extremely far away from their hive, causing them to forget where it is. And also, farmers are using harsh pesticides, which are harming vast amounts of bees, and that's pretty bad. We need every bee that we have. And also, another problem is bees are losing their habitats because people are knowingly planting plants that are harmful to them, and farmers have decided to start growing way too many crops, giving them an excuse to destroy the bees' homes. Then if you move down a little bit, I put in a few GIFs, and it's just to represent, bees dying, because in the U.S. alone, we lost about 44% of our bees, and that's just in a year. Now we can talk a little bit about why we need bees. So we need bees very much because they're vital parts of nature. If you didn't already know, bees are pollinators, meaning that they give about 85% of the plants on Earth the ability to grow through their pollen. That's a lot. Also, bees pollinate plants that feed cows and other animals, so without bees, most animals would not be living, or probably wouldn't be suitable for human life. Overall, ecosystem would be in some major trouble. A cool thing to this, though, is a picture above. I used JavaScript for this one. I'll talk about that later, but so it represents what the Earth looks like currently with bees, but once clicked, it represents what the Earth would look like without bees. It's a pretty big difference. And if you go into the view page source, then I had to link my JavaScript file over here. Click on that, and it basically has it has just all the code, like the var image, and then that has the trees. And then if you go down, it has else if, meaning that if you click on it, it's just basically gonna change it. And so now I'm just gonna talk a little bit about how we can prevent them from being harmed. So I'm going to start off with pesticides and farmers. So one way to stop pesticide use, the ill-mannered farmers could be rewarding farmers that just stop pesticide use and help keep the bees alive. And fundamentally, this will cause other farmers to do the same and want to help keep the bees alive. And next, this is something we can all do, which is simply just start showing people that bees aren't out to get them. The only reason they would sting you is because you're a threat to them, and showing them that planting friendly plants isn't so bad. It can actually help the environment a lot. And so I just think that if we work together, we can create a better place for the bees to live. Like, be the only way, fair way of making them. And then I have my citations. That's about it.
Fortunately, Corinne couldn't be here today. She's sick. So next up we have Leslie, who's also not here. Okay, Furwa. Not here? Wait, no, she is here. I saw you. Yeah. Okay, great.
My website was about child hunger. So there's about 805 million kids who are hungry every day and 795 million kids who are starving every day, and we can help change that. So in my website I have some images that I used, that I went into from HTML files, and it shows that 1 out of 5 kids struggle with hunger every single day, and it can affect the child for the rest of its life. It can affect its attention span and its how it problem solves and their eyesight, and they can possibly become blind. But there are ways that we can help. How hunger affects our health. 22,000 kids die under the age of 5 die every single day, which is about 8 million kids that die a year, which is not okay. 50% of children die. Half the children that die every single day are because of hunger, and I added this picture from also an HTML file, which this picture showed how hunger works and how it affects different children. And children affects them for nutrition, and it can physically, mentally hurt them. With family, it will help their poor health will eventually lead to an undernourished child. With adults, lack of nutrition will not help with their daily work, and with children with just chronic health problems. So what causes hunger? There are a lot of things that cause hunger. One of the things is poverty, because poverty is a big issue in the world, and it is a big deal, and a lot of kids don't eat because they have no money. And when a family goes into poverty, they're usually, like when they don't have when they're not in poverty and eventually go into it, they're spending their money on other necessities and they have no money left for food, which leaves them hungry. Also, some people that are already hungry, they try to go to work to get some money. They usually can't work hard enough because they have no energy, because they have no nourishment from the foods. And war is another reason, because war makes the hungry leave their area and home, which also they don't bring the food because it's too dangerous. So it also leaves them hungry. Although all this is happening, there's ways that we can help. There's different, there's a lot of charities that you can donate to that will help with hunger, and how they will give food to the children to help them not starve. And you can also spread the word by posting on social media, or talking to food banks and food organizations, or you could even start your own charity to also help with the hunger. And there's charities listed right here. And then that's my citations.
So next up is Jeremy.
This is my website, and my website is about stopping hunger. And I use HTML and CSS for my website. So why world hunger is a problem? World hunger is a problem because 98% of the hungry people live in developing countries. And I also found out that almost 1 in every 4 people in Africa go to bed hungry and malnourished. This is a problem because people won't be able to get food and then they won't be able to survive. My third page in my website is about why we should care about children and people that aren't us, that live hungry and don't get any food. We should care about this because almost 795 million people suffer from hunger. Hunger is slowly becoming a pandemic. Without nutrients from food, children won't be able to get the education they need and won't be able to provide for themselves. They won't be able to learn and grow. Without education, they won't be able to support their families, and without that, they'll probably not survive. Finally, we can all make a difference. According to CNN, there are 600 million small farmers, but most of them are women. If men could also help, there would be increase in food that is made. Another way everyone can help is by volunteering, donating money, and just going to places like Feed My Starving Children to help package food. These are just some websites, like corporations, where you can donate, and this is my citation.
Next up is Joe. Joseph.
My website is all about why are people glued or attracted to screens. On my first page, it talks about how one man's experience in an elevator where a toddler had pushed all the buttons just because it lit up or made a sound. And excuse me. Basic information. iPads are being classified as a toy now because they entertain small children, like the first page said, because it lights up or makes a noise, and that's entertaining to children because their brains are still developing. About this website is about how this website could teach you how children or even adults could be attracted to screens. And fun fact, every hour spent on a screen takes 22 minutes out of your lifetime. Link? A website where that also teaches you why children or people are attracted to screens. My citations, you can play Pac-Man on here. I put all my images in here using HTML and CSS code, and that's all I have for you today. Hope you enjoyed.
So Joe, you actually did a bit of research with Screen Edition, right? While you were in the camp.
Yes.
So what games did you use? What games?
Block Jumper.
Okay, great. And well, Block Jumper may not have taught him much. What we did teach Joe about HTML, CSS, and JavaScript is all the cool things you can do about it. So we've been talking. All of these kids have been throwing out the terms for a while, right? So can anyone of you guys tell me though, what does HTML stand for? Let's see, Samantha.
Hypertext Markup Language.
Very good. So hypertext markup language. And that's what makes the bread and butter of your website. That's where people put in the paragraphs, the headings, that's all the text that you see displayed, and the images. Now, we also do something fancy with CSS. We can make the website more fancy. So can anyone tell me what CSS stands for? Yep. Very good. Cascade. I want to point out, by the way, that those people were my students. Okay. Each of us mentors had students assigned to us. Okay. Cascading style sheets, okay? So, cascading style sheets. Who wants to tell me what those do? Joe?
Create style to the website with backgrounds.
Backgrounds.
And drop-down menus. And it can link stuff to HTML to make stuff.
Exactly. So you can change the font, the color of the font, the type of font, size of font, all that stuff. You can change background colors, as we said, add a background image. There's all sorts of things you can do with CSS. And that's how Joe's drop-down menu looks so nice. If you look at the links that he clicked on are green, the unclicked link is red, and when you mouse over a link and you're ready to click, notice how the font color changes and the background color of that box also changes. So nice job, Joe. Next up is Angelina.
About world hunger. What is world hunger? Well, world hunger is basically, hunger is when people are well, they don't get enough nutrients, and this can affect their health. And they don't have enough calories a day, so they don't have enough energy to do basic things. And about 7.6 million kids die from hunger in a year. What is the cause of hunger? There are a few things that cause hunger. One of them is poverty. People in countries that are not developed earn about $1.50 a day, and with that money, you can't buy that much food for your family. Another thing is food shortages. They don't have enough food to feed their family. Poor infrastructure is another thing. They can't transport their food to the people who need it. So in parts of the country, they have enough food, but in other parts, they can't give it to them because they have poor roads and poor cars and trucks. Another thing is they have unstable markets. Once again, they don't make that much money, so they can't buy enough food for their family. There's a few ways to help. Most of them are pretty much by donating money to help feed families. The things that people who are starving can help with, they can grow their own food so they can feed themselves. And here you can see I use some CSS files and HTML files to do the links and the photos. Okay, I do that a bit. Here are some statistics about it and like where most people are hungry. So as you can see, most people who are hungry live in Southern Asia, and about 795 million people on this earth are hungry right now, and about 161 million of them are kids. And here are all the citations I used to create this website. Thank you.
a lot of cheese, some sausage, and some pepperoni. So if you'd like to get another slice before we start this next presentation, please be welcome. There's cookies, there's cupcakes and chips. So take another piece, eat another cupcake.
It's always getting live streamed. Did you not notice?
I did, but how do you know if there are any viewers? You're in it.
I think it would say this.
So live streaming, guys. We have fun. Isn't that cool?
But is anyone even watching?
Yeah, a few people were. I don't know. I used to watch it.
Oh, I love it.
48 people. Wait, no, I have only 48 friends, so like, because I'm kind of stingy with friends requests. I think you learned that, right? You didn't hear anything? Oh, no. Okay, well. Okay, you guys are. You know the whole drama with us? So, we were talking about that for like 5 minutes. And my friend was over here. She did something for me. There's a waiting list. No, 80. There's 89 people on my waiting list. I know.
Did you add any JavaScript? No. It was really confusing, so I just ended up not adding.
It's live streaming on Facebook, right? Yeah, people are watching it.
Okay, we're gonna start in just a few minutes.
I'm always going to be in the screen.
You can grab a stick. Now comms are going to be on the floor.
Who's actually on?
Wait, we're actually doing on it. Sorry.
Spam the chat.
Saying every day.
I don't think there's anybody.
If you want to be the
I look like a turtle.
yeah, I know, right? Yeah, exactly. You usually for that percent. But if she heard about how funny my friend list was, so that made her want to get more. I want to be a good friend with you on Facebook, okay? She right there. She right there. Like how limited.
Put it back there.
Exactly. So you understand.
Turn it around.
You have to put it here. But you understand my thought. Music to me is like my thought. But finally, Katie, what? Can you move forward a little bit? Yeah, you can move it wherever you want. I don't know if you want to adjust it a bit. Yeah. Just make sure everything, yeah.
Am I in the screen? You can live speak about eating all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, so next up is Demetrios. So please give him your attention. I like your shirt.
My website is about world hunger. World hunger is for everybody in the world to be one and in peace. What causes
problem is hate in the world. Hate is a global problem, and some people even call it a crime against humanity. Hate is sometimes caused by killing people, and there are currently 60 countries at war. Some countries currently at war are the Somalian Civil War, the Civil War in Myanmar, the Filipino Wars, the wars on terror in Iraq, the hybrid wars, and many, many more wars. What are people doing today to help with world peace? In 2017, people are helping with world peace by making everything right in the world, by stopping wars, feeding people. Some charities that help with world peace are the Gaza Emergency Appeal, the Syria Crisis Winter Appeal, Ukraine Emergency Following Whistles, Amnesty International, Save the Internet, Wounded Warrior Project, and many more. And these are my sources. I added those links with CS and HTML.
Next up is Sophia.
My project is on tiny houses for the homeless. I'm actually working on starting an organization for this now. And this is explaining why I want to and why it's important. So tiny houses are beneficial because they help the community. Many are created alongside other groups of smaller houses. These neighborhoods benefit the people that live in them and the people that live around them. In 2007, the National Alliance to End Homelessness compiled 3 studies showing that it costs the same or less money to provide permanent housing as it does to allow people to remain homeless. In Denver, Colorado, a housing program for the homeless reduced the costs of public services, including medical services, temporary shelter, and costs associated with arrests, by an estimated $15,773 per person per year. That's from Yes Magazine. Reasons to love tiny houses. Tiny houses cost less or the same as letting people remain homeless. Tiny house villages can give business to other non-profit organizations. And tiny houses give the opportunity of starting over to many people. And then I added 2 links to articles about other tiny house organizations. Everyone deserves a home. Tiny house programs for the homeless wants to build small villages of tiny houses for all that need them in Maine Township, Illinois. Each tiny house costs around $10,000 to build, so we're starting small with just 2 houses. These villages have been successful in many other places, and they provide a sense of safety, security, and dignity, along with giving them a place in the community. Plans for tiny house communities. Many common layouts for the villages is one central building and about 12 tiny houses around it. The central building contains a number of different areas. Some villages have a kitchen and mail area and a donation distribution center, while others have a central dining area, small shop, and a chore list. Locations for tiny house villages are often abandoned lots, but have been given grass and trees and are quite well. This image is a plan for the inside of a tiny house. You see it has a stove and a shower and heating and all the stuff that you have in your house,
not all of it, but all the essentials. And then this is a plan for a different tiny building that shows the whole area. You can see the volunteer parking and the bus stop on the side. These programs work. There are many tiny house programs in American cities that have been successful in helping them and their communities. This shows a list of 4 different tiny house programs. So the second one is there's one in Olympia, Washington. There's Occupy Madison in Wisconsin, and Community First in Texas. They all have different price ranges at the bottom, as you can see. They added an alert using JavaScript that says volunteering for good causes makes the world a better place and can offer help to people that need it. Here I added a link to volunteer. I made a Google Forms and then a GoFundMe page, which is a site that can be used to fund nonprofit organizations. And then my citations. I also want to thank MIT for the opportunity, Figueroa and Priya, and my mentor Aaron for all the help that they gave me, and my parents for their support in building my website.
Thanks, Sophia, and thank you for the shout out. And JavaScript is the third language that all of our students use. So if you notice that alert that popped up on Sophia's website, that was made using JavaScript, and that basically allows people to use interactivity. Hey, Aaron, you just missed a shout out. That's Aaron, by the way, one of our mentors. Okay, so our next person is Matthew.
Name and Aaron.
Alright, so my website is about education for everyone, and it's something we cannot ignore. First, what we need to do is stop discriminating people and acknowledge them for who they are. The second thing we need to do is provide for them. Then we need to educate them. We need to be willing to teach our students, and we have to be able to give knowledge to the students and have them expand from just that. We need to make sure they are educated and have the qualifications to make it through life and be able to do great things like the people who gave them this knowledge. We need to get many educated students for the future, because without all these students in the future, what are we going to do when all the other scientists die or the teachers? We wouldn't be able to do much without giving everyone education. We have all wondered one day probably about how good we have it with education compared to other races or nations. We the people as an established society have been given everything, and we can work with that and learn from it by using education. Other things are stripped away, or others are stripped away of this right. People think of education as something that is given to you if you deserve it, or if you look a certain way or act or talk a different way. People judge you. People judge people they think are lower because anyone can help save these people, whether you are a teacher or if you are a student yourself. All you really need to do is contribute to your community. You can also help teach them by volunteering in certain charities to help with the payments of the supplies and items these students would need. Or you could also help these other students just by giving them a chance to learn the same things we learn and more. This is my second page. Education is right. Education is not something you should take lightly because it should be known as a right, not a privilege. Since we have education, it can promote freedom for every individual and give power and hold important development benefits. But millions of children and adults remain deprived of educational opportunities, many as a result of poverty. People are discriminated for their race, and most people will not teach them because of this fact. But all these people should be granted the right to be educated. Although some aren't able to afford it, they should be treated with love and care. We should provide education to all the children and adults. We shouldn't discriminate and take the right of education away from the people. We need to give the people what they deserve and what they need to live on and help with their community education. This is my third page. Hope the comments. If we took the time to actually help the people without thinking about what we could gain from it, we could help within our community and get more educated people out there. Taking away this right from people from becoming and doing great things that could continue to help our country thrive as one of the most powerful and smartest. The others can't even do that. The other races bring their culture into our country, which could help us in every way, but we choose to ignore that fact and stop caring about others, which is why we are excluding the other races from getting education. We all should be getting education, so we should all also. This is my fourth page, why it matters. We should be giving education to all people, especially the children, because children are our future. If we don't give the children a better education and an education in general, how are they going to learn to create things? How are they going to invent? How are they going to build off of what we have left them? When we avoid this right from these children and adults, we are most likely to stop mankind from even going anywhere. We won't advance on any of our sciences, meaning how are we ever going to get past the things we have now without education? We never overcome this obstacle in getting past what we have right now. We won't advance on any of our scientists, meaning we won't advance on any of our sciences, meaning how are we ever going to get past the things we have now without education? We will never overcome the obstacle in getting past what we have right now. Because for the children right now, when they are going into adulthood, they won't have much clue on what to do with that. This also helps with disabled or mentally challenged because most people don't care much about the education of the disabled or mentally challenged. This is my Learn About page. This has a bunch of other sites where you can go to learn about it. And these are my citations.
Next up is Isabella.
I'm Isabella, and I did my website on how to help the homeless. So, I already introduced myself, so that's what my website says, but basically ways that you can help the homeless are by volunteering in places that help feed and give shelter to the homeless. Okay, so if you're wondering what homelessness is, it's the state of not having a home. People lose their homes for many different reasons, such as losing their job or not being able to make payments to continue living in their home. Some people live on the streets, some live in shelters, and others in missions or single-room occupancy facilities. Some people are not completely homeless or living on the streets, they are just doubled up, which means that they're living with friends or other family members. ways that you can help the homeless is bring food to the homeless if you see them on the streets, or package food in places such as Feed My Starving Children, which kind of works in different places, but it's places like that that help people that don't have food and stuff like that. So give them money and give them something to drink, such as like water, or give them a gift card to a food place so that they can go on their own and get what they want so that they can be well fed. Donate clothing for the current season, that way they're not hot or cold. Volunteer at shelters, donate toys for homeless people with kids, and donate a bag of groceries, that way they can have food that lasts more than one day. You may be wondering, how does this affect me? I'm not homeless, I have a home, my family is in a good place. So someone who's homeless has a 6 in every 100 chance of getting employed, compared to a 70 in every 100 chance the general population has. So if you have a job right now, which I'm guessing most likely do, you're very lucky, and you may take this for granted because homeless people, they are trying to support their families and themselves. And they can't do that very well because they are misjudged, or they can't take a shower somewhere and look nice for a workplace that will most likely pay them well. That way they can try and support themselves or their family. So homeless people have a 72 in every 100 chance of having mental issues, compared to the 30 in every 100 of the general population. So homeless people have a lot of struggles compared to the struggles that we have, and we think that we have it bad. So the homeless population tend to have long-term physical health issues with a 56 in every 100 chance, while the regular population has a low chance of 29 in every 100. So homeless people have a 26 in every 100 chance of using drugs, and the general population has a chance of 8 in every 100. Because we tend in our homes to be shown by our parents that some things are not good to do, but they don't have the influences to show them that some things are not okay to do. And they end up ruining their lives in the long run. These are my citations.
Next up is Haley.
Save the pennies.
Should I join this and start talking to each other?
Is anyone watching?
My
Nope,
name is
zero.
Aisha, and my cause is supporting the pandas, which are an endangered animal. Pandas are endangered animals. There are only 2,060 pandas left living in the wild, and there are only a couple hundred in captivity. And even in captivity, the pandas have a low chance of surviving. In about a week, 60% of newborn pandas die after they're born. And for them to survive in the wild, they need 2.5 to 4 square miles of land, and they each need to eat about 80 pounds of bamboo a day to stay healthy. This is a problem because in China, there's a lot of, the population is very large and it's overflowing. So to make space for the people, they have to cut down the bamboo forests in which the pandas live. Because of this, pandas lose their habitat and lose their main source of food, and most of them die of starvation. This affects the community a lot because
if pandas go extinct, then our bamboo forest would probably die out, because when pandas eat bamboo and they travel and move around, they unknowingly grow the bamboo forests by themselves, mostly. To help save the pandas, we can do many things, such as we can donate money to charities, such as WWF, and we can also support panda breeding programs. And we can also grow bamboo here and then send it to charities, and so they don't starve, so the pandas don't starve. And using the CSS, I was able to change the colors and the font to make it fancy, and change the backgrounds. And these are my citations. Up next is Brandon.
My name is Alexandra, and my website topic is about making a healthier America. As you all know, today not a lot of Americans live a very healthy life. For the past 25 years, more than half of the U.S. population was either overweight or obese. From 2009 to 2012, over half the population had prehypertension or hypertension, had abnormally high cholesterol, and in 2012, the prevalence of diabetes in adults was around 1 in 10. That's a lot. The reason for these high instances of these diseases was because of Americans' general poor lifestyle and poor diet. So hopefully this website can motivate and teach people how to be healthier by exercising and dieting. So hopefully we can make a much happier, healthier America. Of course, one of the main things that help you be healthy is having a proper diet. After all, your body needs to be well fueled in order to perform its best. Having a good diet may seem difficult, but if you just watch what you eat, you can do it. One thing you need to watch to have a healthy diet is your calorie intake. What is a calorie? Well, it's basically a unit of energy you get from food. If you eat 100 calories, you get that much energy. If you burn 100 calories, you use that much energy. In general, in order to stay healthy, you need to eat the same amount of energy as your body uses. If you eat too much energy, you will, of course, gain weight. If you eat not enough, you will lose weight and eventually starve. The average amount of calories the adult female needs is about 1,600 calories to 2,400 calories, and the average male might need around 2,000 to 3,000 calories. But it does vary for each person depending on factors like age, activity level, and sex. Here's a little chart that shows can show you what your daily calorie needs might be. Of course, to be healthy, you also need to get the right amount of nutrients. There are 6 major nutrients that your body needs to function properly. Those are carbohydrates, proteins, fats, minerals, vitamins, and of course water. So how do you get these things? To get these things, which foods do you need to eat, and how much of those foods do you need to eat? Well, you need to pay attention to the food pyramid. The food pyramid is separated into 5 basic groups: the grain group, the vegetable group, the fruit group, the dairy group, and the protein group. Foods are grouped based on similar nutritional content, so if you eat the right amount from each group, you should get the right amount of nutrients. course, exercise is just as important in keeping healthy as a proper diet. Regular exercise has been shown to combat diseases such as depression, heart disease, and even might help you do better in school. Children, of course, should get around 60 minutes of exercise per day, including some bone and muscle strengthening exercises. But the average adult should get around 150 minutes of moderate or 75 minutes of vigorous exercise every week, preferably spread out. Also, twice a week, they should do muscle strengthening exercises. Of course, doing more will help you gain even better health benefits. The more exercise you do, the better. So even if you can't do this much exercise, even doing little exercise can go a long way, like walking around. That can help you a lot. One often looked over part of health is mental health, though it's just as important as any other type of health. Since it can affect your ability to perform in life and also can have damages on your physical health too. Here's some ways that you can help improve your mental health. The first is talk about your feelings. Talking to someone about your feelings can help you cope with your life and feel supported. The second is spend time with animals. They have been shown to reduce stress levels and improve happiness levels. Also drink coffee. Drinking coffee has been shown to reduce levels of depression, but if you can't drink caffeine, green tea is a good substitute. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, exercising and eating healthy can help reduce symptoms of depression too. And lastly, writing down your emotions on paper can help reduce symptoms of depression. Of course, if you're feeling a bit down on yourself, these things will help, but if you're really struggling from a bad mental disorder and can't get out of it, you should seek help from a mental professional. And here's some links, a drop-down link to some healthy recipes that made by the USDA. They're USDA approved, so of course you know they're healthy. Here's my citations. I think they look kind of cool. They're buttons. And a roof.
Wow.
JavaScript, some JavaScript and some CSS and HTML, all for these buttons. Page picture. So that's it.
Nice job. Next up we have Peter.
Peter.
So we have 4 more people that we're hoping to get through to the next 15-20 minutes, I guess.
4 people.
And then we'll award prizes and goodies to mentors and students.
My boy Peter.
As already said, I am Peter Stremecki, and I'm talking about China's pollution. First off, there's many issues of China's pollution, like there's lots of garbage over there and waters, too much factories that's polluting the air, and if they get more and more bugs, that means they're going to get more diseases, and they're going to die. And there's way too many factories. I mean, why produce so many toys? Send them to Germany, Russia. What even is it? And there may be some lead in the water that can contaminate some plates, that contaminate the fruits or vegetables, and that can kill the people who eat them off of. There are some causes. I already said the first one. There's way too many factories. There's bacteria floating in the water. And there's some moss, as seen in the picture, sometimes growing on the lake surface. And there's a lot of garbage on there. And according to NBOR, what's the name? In an attempt to reduce air pollution, the Chinese government has made a decision to enforce stricter regulations.
there's many side effects because of the water, as in bacteria, deaths, or many coughing, which can lead to more diseases, and still the moss. There's only like many ways we can stop them, like stop the factories, clean the water, and not send any garbage to China all the time. And those are my citations.
Next up, we have Samantha.
Hi, my name is Samantha, and my website is about endangered species. I'm sure most of you have already heard about endangered species, but what you may not know is how big of a problem it's becoming. Some of the world's most famous animals, such as polar bears, bottlenose dolphins, and chimpanzees, are becoming vulnerable or extinct or near extinction, which is known as endangerment. Which means they're really dropping quickly. Then there's extinct in the wild, which means they only exist in zoos and special care. After that, they become extinct. Down here, I have a button that's animated, which uses JavaScript. How exactly did species become extinct and endangered? Well, to answer this question, different species have different reasons why. But a lot of the older ones were caused by natural causes, like the woolly mammoth was caused by really rapid climate change and it wasn't able to adapt quickly enough. And also the dinosaurs, which is believed to be caused by a meteor or an asteroid from outer space. But most extinct animals today were caused by us, mostly by these three causes: losing habitats, overfishing and hunting, and bycatch. Losing habitats is a lot of times caused by us ruining the habitats or by global warming, which we also cause. Global warming causes the rapid decline of polar habitats, such as the Arctic and Antarctic, where polar bears are quite quickly becoming endangered, and that's something that we need to be concerned about. Overfishing an area can cause dolphins, porpoises, sharks, and other marine species in that area to go endangered, because if they don't have food to eat, where are they going to get it from? They can't adapt to eat other things. Sometimes animals even start eating garbage or stuff like that, and that makes it even worse. Bycatch is the incidental capture of non-target species, such as dolphins, sea turtles, sharks, and other such. And it happens when commercial fishermen go out and put their big nets out there, and they're not the only ones who want the fish. Other animals, such as the dolphins and sea turtles and such, come by and try to eat it, but end up getting tangled in the net with their meal. So in summary, we're basically the ones who cause the endangerment and extinction of all these animals. We've made areas that used to be comforting fearful. We caused this, and we need to make the change to stop it. So you may be asking, how exactly can you help endangered species? Well, there's some simple solutions that you can use at home. Like you can use recycling. Even though it sounds cliche, it does help the environment and it helps cut down less rainforest area, which happens to be where 50% of the world's animals and plants live. So if we continue what we're doing now, not recycling our paper, we have a demand for even more paper, which means we're cutting down more rainforest areas. And eventually, if we continue this, our rainforest will disappear, and so will the 50% of animals and plants living in it. Other things that you can do, you can also try bicycling and walking more, because that decreases global warming, since burning coals and fuels like that increase the carbon dioxide in our atmosphere and causes global warming to increase. And also you can try buying fish fished in the US, because fishing in the US has more strict laws with bycatch, like you have to bring the animal to an animal hospital where it can get help, and you can't just leave it there. Unlike areas in China and other areas which don't have as strict laws, and they just leave the animals in the nets to die. You can also donate to charities, like the ones on my next page. There are several charities working to help endangered species. These are just 3 of the most notable. The World Wildlife Fund, or WWF, the Wildlife Conservation Society, and the International Fund for Animal Welfare. And these are their logos over here that I inputted with HTML coding. And these are my citations. And if you want to learn more, you can log on to my website on endangeredspecies.neocities.org and check out these links, which are specific examples of endangered and critically endangered species. And like the vaquita, which only has 30 left in the wild and desperately needs help. So in conclusion, we need to make the change to save these species, and we need to make it quick, or else we might be the only species left on this planet several centuries from now. And life would never be the same without all the rest of the animals and other species that we have today. So I ask you to please just try the simple things that you can do at home. Recycling doesn't take much. And it's easy to walk and cycle to places really close to your house. Like schools are often very close. It's easy to walk and cycle home, especially if you live only like a couple houses away from whatever school you go to.
Nice job, Samantha. Next up, we have Justin. By the way, Justin, after I saw you, I realized I should also put on my glasses so I can also look smart.
My name is Justin. I did my project on global warming, and global warming has caused temperatures of the Earth to go really high. They've almost doubled over the last 50 years. This is because of us. We keep emitting too much carbon dioxide into the air. I use JavaScript to make these 2 buttons so that would cycle through these 2 pictures. Like this is Chicago right now, and years later it could be this, because it could cause all the water to overflow. If you don't know what global warming is, which I know most of you might, but it's basically the temperature of increasing too quick for the temperature around Earth to adapt to each other. So if it gets too warm in one area, the cold areas would just cancel each other out. So it would be even. But as you see in the pictures, all the factories causing all the carbon dioxide to go in the air, it all causes the atmosphere to take in more, it like traps more air instead of letting a lot of the unwanted heat to go out. These are some gases that, greenhouse gases that cause, there's water vapor, it doesn't really do much, methane, which you can't smell, and it can kill you, and nitrous oxide, carbon dioxide. You might wonder why we cared about this, but it really affects a lot of other animals besides us. It doesn't affect us as much now, but it will later. As you see the polar bear, that was probably just him staying there, but the ice has really decreased because all of it is melting in our ice caps. It also causes ocean temperatures to rise, which can cause more hurricanes, and the northern countries, it causes diseases to travel because as temperatures get colder, animals like mosquitoes that may carry diseases fly north into us, and they cause, they bring plagues, things like that. This is just a picture of bacteria. This is a little picture of what we do, CFCs. That's in the air conditioning, things like that. Sprays that we use if you could buy bottles such as hairsprays. If you look on the back, if you could buy things that says no CFCs, that'd be better for the environment. It's just as bad as carbon dioxide, things like that. The sun, it has a lot of different types of rays, things like that, and a lot of the bad ones are reflected out, but all the carbon dioxide causes it, it would reflect back out of Earth's atmosphere, but it causes a lot of heat to stay trapped in Earth, which is why the ice all melts. Some things you could do is, you could do recycling, which it's not that hard. I mean, if you have a carton of eggs and you're carrying a milk jug outside or into your house, so you could set up a small recycling bin so they're next to each other, so you could just set them up and throw the garbage away and recycling at the same time. It's not that hard. So just make sure when you go home, try to recycle more. It really helps. And instead of just turning off electronics, if you're not using them, you can unplug them, which actually helps better. And you can actually, switching light bulbs actually really help, because if you switch out a light bulb, and say most efficient light bulbs are 60% more efficient, something like that, they can actually decrease up to 30 pounds of carbon dioxide per year by switching just one light bulb. So that way you save more money and they're cheaper. And that's just one light bulb. So if you switch all of them, and I created this little thing using JavaScript, where if you turn on the light bulb, it turns off. These are a couple of videos that you can see. Use them. And some recitations.
Ethan, you have 2 minutes. You got 2 minutes.
Really nice job, Justin, with all the JavaScript buttons. And last but not least is Ethan. Ethan, my sister and I were actually talking about you, and we realized that we've known you, or at least seen you at Iroquois since you were in kindergarten. And now you're going to be a freshman? Wow, they grew up so fast.
Alright, well, my website is basically about the future of the Earth and where we'll be going soon, which possibly could be Mars with the Mars mission. On the website, I discussed the Spirit rover and the Opportunity rover, and then the third one, which is the Curiosity rover. I talk about different things that the rovers have found, and I show some pictures, so I'm going to do that now. As you can see, there's a video, and then up there it kind of talks about when the rover was launched and when it got stuck, some of the stuff that it found and different things that it did. The rover didn't last very long. I think it says up there, and then really it helped kind of start the mission out, and then the next rover, which was its twin, which was Opportunity, sort of has been continuing its legacy. So as you can see here, I used HTML to go ahead and put in some pictures that the rover took actually of Mars. Those are straight off of its cameras. Some of the information up there can be seen, like when the rover Opportunity landed there. Notable things it found can be found right there, and then here's a video, and then if you click the button down there, I used JavaScript. It goes ahead and opens up a website about the Mars mission and updates about it. And then the future of the Mars mission, that is the third rover, Curiosity. So down there you can click on some of the buttons that once again were used with JavaScript, such as the NASA's official website, updates, and then updates on Curiosity as well. And then my citations, which of course, right here, and then you can play Pac-Man out there too. That's the selling point.
Really nice job, Ethan. Now, we had 3 guest speakers come in over the course of our camp. We had Mr. Doug Nafis from UOP, Ms. Levin from our school, and we had Dr. Collins. Where's Dr. Collins? Oh, hi. So, yeah, she's from MyCAF, and she used to work at Northwestern and Abbott Laboratories. Yeah. So, we wanted to present each of our guest speakers with a little gift and a thank you note. So, first up, Dr. Collins.
Did a fantastic job, and the kids, a lot of them do that. And the kids, when I went to go speak with them, they had the best questions. So when I think about all of our future, it's in good hands with these kids. So that's a good thing.
Dr. Collins gave us a very inspiring talk about science back in her day and the future of science, where she sees it going. She was a scientist herself, and she worked with creating the material used on UV contact lenses. You own the patent on that, right? Yeah, so it was very impressive, and we got to hear a lot about her experiences and talk about her work with MyCAF. Next up, we have Miss Levin. She's a math and computer science teacher at Maine West for the past 20 years. Ms. Levin talked about her experience in STEM and what she thinks about women in STEM and what paths we can take if we want to be a teacher or go into a math or computer science or other STEM-related field. So thank you.
Can we smash 20 million likes?
And finally, we have Mr. Nafis, who's from UOP Honeywell. He talked about his experience as a chemical engineer and his travels, and he owns how many patents? A lot.
12 issue, many pending.
12 issue, many pending. Okay.
I know this was a course on coding, but sitting out in the audience, the thing that struck me was how well all of you spoke. I thought your presentations were very good. Thanks.
I'll do shout out to Phase Apex. Shout out to Phase Apex.
Okay, so what was great about this program was that it was of the students, by the students, and for the students. So the next people we would like to honor are our mentors. We couldn't have done it without you. I know the middle school teachers would know that sometimes it's difficult, in the summer. Middle school students like to chat and play games, but they kept them on task, and I want to thank each and every one of you, for taking out the time out of your busy schedule to come not only to our sessions, but also at home going and checking their websites. So thank you, mentors. We are going to call each and every one of you up here. So the first one is Aaron. Aaron Schreier-Miller is going to be a freshman at UIC in electrical engineering and computer science. So he's double majoring. Our next mentor is Isis Julian, who's going to also be a freshman at UIC, majoring in mathematics. Our next mentor is Anami Patel, who's going to be a sophomore at Maine East High School. Our next mentor is Anthony Rabenio. He's going to be a senior at Urbana-Champaign, majoring in material science.
Material science, metallurgy, and minoring mathematics.
There you go.
That's a triple whammy.
Our next mentor is Danica, who's going to be a junior at Maine West High School.
Like and subscribe.
Our next mentor is Emil Smochina, who's going to be a freshman at Oakton, majoring in
Thanks.
Our next mentor is Jafari Aditya, and he's going to be a junior at Maine West High School. Our next mentor is Leonardo. He's going to be a junior at Maine West High School. And our next mentor is Matthew Montanelli, who's going to be a senior at Maine West High School.
Do I get one of these?
I guess.
Students, okay.
There's a saying at MIT, look to your left, look to your right, one of you is not going to be here. That's what it seemed at this camp, because we started off with around 40, 45 people were interested in the camp. 30 people showed up on the first day, and now I think we have less than 20 presenting on the last day. So I want to say a big congratulations to all of you for doing such an incredible job learning HTML, CSS, JavaScript in your vacation. And as Mr. Doug said, that you had beautiful presentations. So we're going to call each and every one of you up, and I'm going to give you a certificate. The first one up is Pratiksha. Sorry.
Subscribe if you're new.
Subscribe.
Actually,
subscribe if you're new.
Subscribe.
Smash that like button.
Smash the like button.
You already
Oh
know
yeah.
what to do.
You already know. You already know what's going on.
Smash that like button.
Okay. All of your mentors, mentees are gonna get t-shirts, but after. Okay, the next one is Devin.
Welcome to Strive for Devin. Jeremy too.
I'd like on our next Furba.
Forgive me. 6 days for virtual reality. 1, 2, 3 in the chat.
Jeremy.
Jeremy Joseph. Jeremy.
Joseph.
Go up there again.
Welcome to
Go up there
Prime.
again. Jeremy Joseph.
Unless you don't want it. Angelina.
As always, it's been rugged and off.
Angelina, your t-shirt.
Praise God.
And then Demetrius.
Subscribe if you do.
Sophia. Matthew.
As always,
Real Jeremy hours.
Isabella.
Devin. Social Security number.
Devin, are you like a beast? Are you like a beast? A beast.
Haleyst.
Because actually, this is right from Mark. I see you guys uploading daily now.
Alexandra.
See you guys smile because it's every day, bro. At Team 10.
Peter.
In the chat. There's my city in the chat. Yeah, me too. Jeremy Joseph.
Samantha.
I want to spam the chat in this live stream. Would you spam the chat in this live stream?
Justin.
Spam the live stream. Spam it.
And Ethan. Okay, so while we give the t-shirts to the people who still haven't received it, we'll be taking a group picture in one moment. But just for while we're doing that, I wanted to recognize educators in this room. So if you're like a superintendent, principal, teacher, can you all please stand up? Thank you so much for being here. And the parents, why not give a round of applause for our parents? Parents, can you please stand up?
Who we need? This is right here, right now.
My dad didn't stand up.
Okay, students, can we all now start lining up here? And parents, you can take a picture.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, all
Okay, hold on. Perfect.
If you want to put on your t-shirt, you can put on your t-shirt. If you don't have your t-shirt, please come here. If you don't have your
Yeah. Like and subscribe.
guys need to squish together. Squish together. Squishing together. All right. If we all come all the way in the front like she is and we go like this, okay? Yep. Go like this. Like you're like you know that. Turn it. All of it.
Oh my god. No one is watching that. Like and subscribe. Ready? You guys should have to watch this,
Can we get the mentors in the picture?
Thank you, Anthony. Squeeze together.
Let's all get the